Hey guys, Luna here, and welcome back to our life. Let's just get right into it, shall we? We are finishing up with the wedding DLC. These events are set after step 4, but not specified when. It could be during that same summer, the next summer, a year in the future, springtime in California, etc. You can assume the timeline is whatever it needs to be to make them sense for the choices you made to progress the relationship. Before starting, would you like to pick out an engagement ring for Cove to wear? Yes, I want to pick a one friend for now, because it's fun. Get to see. Wait, I did not mean to. So I guess I can't change the. Oh, I can. For him, I will do just. I'll do that. So I can do platinum or silver. That actually looks really pretty. Yeah. I'll do this, because this actually looks really pretty. What initiative level? Sure, I'll do high. We truly hope you have a wonderful wedding. The wedding. Side by side on a purple fox level couch you sat with your fiancé Cove. This looks very familiar, if you guys remember a certain someone that we have not talked to in a long time. The air in the chic office smelled of non-distinct perfume, and though luckily it was a demure touch rather than smothering. A small hum came from the air conditioning, gently throwing through the scent around the room. It was the first time either of you had been there, and you weren't sure if the atmosphere was meant to be comfort or impress visitors. For some people, it wouldn't make a difference either way. Like with your own partner, for example. Cove's hand was intently gripping yours. You can feel him trembling and hear the squishing noise of the couch each time he shifted around. One part came from his usual nervousness over these kinds of matters, and the other came from an almost uncontainable excitement for the same reason. This place was the headquarters of a well-known event planning agency in the area. This office belonged to their partner for a very particular type of special occasions, weddings. You were here to plan your own wedding together. Soon he wouldn't be only your fiancé, Cove would be your husband. On that occasion, there was going to be a ceremony, reception, and everything. You matched with Cove, shaking from nerves. With your unison shivering, you hoped you didn't slide down off the cushions. The saving grace that was getting you through it was knowing that this meeting should be straightforward. Introducing yourselves to the planning team, getting familiar with one another, and going over some basics. The entire process would take multiple visits here and trips to other locations. Before setting up the appointment with the planner, you and Cove decided that you were going to set the wedding in, or at least near Sunset Bird. You also had a good idea of who would be attending, how large the wedding was going to need to be, and a few other details related to your lives going forward. That was as far as you got in the process when you decided to bring in assistance. You're thankful you had a professional to do this with. Cove caught your mind wandering away from you, and the corners of his mouth lifted couragingly. His second hand reached over to clasp both yours and his first. A metallic sensation pressed against his skin, the engagement ring securely on his left ring finger. Your feet shuffled against a black and white striped rug that covered over the center of the hardwood floors as you returned a smile back. Here we are. It's really happening. His fingers squeezed your hands deeper into his hold. I know you're not really good with any of this, but I'm sure that whatever ends up being like this, it's going to be amazing. It has to be, because I'm marrying you. Yeah, and hopefully only panic a moderate amount along the way. Hey, I'm trying my best. I know. And then there was a series of quick knocks. Your conversation stopped as you shared unsure looks between one another. Come in? In response to Cove's words, the shiny wood door off to the side swung open. Hello, lovebirds. Baxter! Standing in the entry was a tall man, about your age. His dark gray hair swept to the side of his neck was a distinct mole. Well, this is unfortunate. Not your union, of course. That's perfect. Two neighbors across the street from each other finding love together doesn't get better than that, huh? Cove instantly sputtered out a defensive response. Really? You, of all the people in the whole world, this cannot be happening. Baxter? The former tourist stepped further into the room cautiously. I'm flattered you remember me too, and I didn't even have to dress in black and white. You were overwhelmed. This was an incredibly unexpected reunion, and you weren't prepared to face the emotions surrounding that. It's been a while. Years.
I know.
Yeah, it has been. Cove dropped his response heavily. The tone likely would have been even firmer if he hadn't still been in disbelief that Baxter had reappeared in front of both of you, and a wedding planner of all things. Your wedding planner. What happened? Do you have an explanation for it? Well, as professionally as possible, Baxter strode to the other half of the room and took a seat in the rolling chair opposite the couch you were on. He used the tips of his feet to smoothly twist the chair's position so that it faced you completely as he continued to reply. I am back to college, eventually graduated, joined the great wide career world, grew up, and learned some more. I'm still learning. To fully settle in, Baxter dropped an elbow to the armrest of his seat and rested his cheek against his propped-up fist. That's the curated version. Life is a wonderful journey. Those words were spoken flatly, inauthentically, and punctuated with a dismissive gesture of his free hands. It was impossible to tell if the sarcasm was purely in response to Cove's own sharpness, or if there was something else. Even Cove raised an eyebrow how clear the displeasure was. Baxter was aware of the impression he was given, but only half shrugged, with one shoulder over it. His eyes drifted away from you and your partner. Whatever the story, you definitely weren't getting the full version of it. This is so weird. He straightened back up and took a pause to smooth out his jacket. I've always been a little strange.
Now?
That is my introduction taken care of, then. Let's swing things back around to the real reason you came. He was transparently moving away from the topic of your past as quickly as possible. He can only handle this as a professional providing a service. You're getting married. Congratulations. You were given an authentic round of applause from the audience of one. How did it happen that the two of you came together so long after knowing one another? Truthfully, it would surprise me that it didn't happen back while I was in town, considering all the sparks you had even then. A fond flush of red crept over Cove's cheeks. That was something I wasn't there for. Baxter ever so eloquently tried to brush past the obvious reason why you and Cove were together at that time, but an awkward flush of red still crept over Cove's cheeks.
I mean...
We had come back to Sunset Bird for Luna's parents' anniversary, and then the night of the party we went back to the neighborhood just to spend a little bit more time there. When it was just time to leave, we were standing in front of our parents' houses. I just told them I felt that I loved them. You could feel Cove's gaze on you, warming your body. You could probably tell that they felt the same way and became a couple. You covered your own face out of embarrassment. Cove was settling a breath before continuing the rest of the story. On the last day before we had to leave, they took out a happy coffee in the neighborhood and proposed to me. The pinch of Cove's voice shot up dramatically going through the last sentence and got him shimmering up his sheet. Just thinking back to that moment had him nearly tearing up from joy.
What?
But at the same trip, the realization of your strange engagement had genuinely stunned Baxter, causing him to drop his normally unflappable poise. He leaned forward enough just to make his chair roll back. How long was the visit? 3 days. Cove's reply was sheepish, but without hesitation. With a amused shake of his head, Baxter rested to get back against the seats. You don't let anything stop you, Luna. I can commend that. Baxter let a pen out of his jacket pocket and tapped it against the jack counter at his side. He looked between you and Cove, satisfied. Thank you for answering. Considering you're already acquainted, it should make the process that much better. I'm sure your special day is going to be one to remember. Cove's uneasy single word was directed towards you. In a whisper, he elaborated on what that was supposed to mean. Are we really going through with this? Having Baxter plan a wedding? I'd like you to. Cove quietly yelped. It wasn't unreasonable that the person on the other side of the room could hear the conversation, but Cove had not expected him to answer. I think I could do it as well. I can do it right. There are very few weddings I'd like to see go off like the charm than this one. He spoke in a conciliatory way. Baxter's normal boldness was entirely missing while asking for this chance. You and Cove faced one another on the couch. The softness in his eyes and the sloping of his brow shared the thoughts without him need to say a word. He was being swayed. You nodded with your partner. There was a pause, and then Cove spoke. Okay. You're our planner, and we need a planner. Nothing more to it. We don't even really know you. While still on the couch, Cove brought up his torso to full height and head held high. He then looked. The look on his face was determined. Since this is actually reality that exists now, I got a question for you, Baxter. Yes? Cove's strong stance began to crumble. He shrunk himself on. Is your offer for dance lessons still open? Your new planner gasped before quickly settling into laughter with a clap of his hands. Of course, always. Well, I'm probably gonna.
I'm here if you need me.
I understand completely. I'm here for you, and you as well, Luna, if there's a need. You're a good dancer, but it'd be nice to practice with someone. Let's do it. Got it, that works for me. Now, he shifted closer in a rolling chair with a glint of his eyes that made him look like a teen he used to be. Let's roll up our sleeves and get into the details, which I don't mean literally. No need to crumple my jacket. But I'm going to have to ask you a few questions.
Alright,
I'm ready. Hit us with your best shot. To start, have we thought about the possible surnames? Yours, his, what are you imagining? I don't care, I just want to marry them. But we actually have talked about it. Yeah, we're thinking about going... Both of us are using a hyphenated name, Holden Mayer. Good to know, Luna and Cove Holden Mayer it is. Cove straightened up against the back of the couch. You could practically hear his heart pounding over your name being said as one that way. Made you giddy too. And what about the titles in the wedding? Bride, groom, can be whichever you like, honestly. Can I be the groom?
Of course.
Of course it's you, Day. He's the bride. He's the groom and I'm the bride. Wonderful. Bride and groom for the couple of the wedding. Baxter flipped open a notebook and sat on the desks. Can I get an idea of the scale? Only an estimate. Doesn't have to be the complete guest list. And even if you never know how many of those invites will accept the RSVPs. Don't trust too much of who's going to be in attendance. Oh. Cove stepped off the cloud nine he's been hovering on since the start of the conversation. He planted himself back firmly on the purple couch in Baxter's office. For sure there's going to be our parents, 4 of them, Luna's sister, their uncle, aunt, and cousin. Some grandparents should be there, but not all of them. We have our friends Miranda, Terry, and Derek. But you're still friends with Miranda and Terry. That's wonderful. Yeah. That's right, but I was also wondering if we could invite Shiloh and Jeremy? Cove snorted, covering his mouth as resisting a laugh. We can try, but I don't think they'll show up. Bax's eyes shifted from your face to Cove and back again. In a sharp, he was trying to read the room. Co-workers of yours?
No.
The mirth of Cove had rapidly turned into more of a nervous chuckle. He momentarily forgot it wasn't just a conversation between you and him. Shiloh is someone we've known since we were kids. He's just not exactly reliable. He always done what he feels like and doesn't do anything else. I think he likes him more than I do. I don't hate him or wouldn't let him come to our wedding, though. It's just for old time's sake. Alright, Jeremy? Cove didn't resist laughing with his whole heart that time. Me and his teens, barely. We were like 13, and he's a little younger. He was horrible, mean, and angry and unreasonable. But thanks to Sheila of all people, I met him again years later. Turns out Jamie's okay now. Mostly more personal than hostile. Kinda got attached even though we're not friends because Jeremy's the kind of guy you won't describe anyone as a friend. Except for Bran. You ended Cove's explanation with him and had matching smiles with him to boot. I can't believe it grew on me. You got some interesting relationships. I put down we can have send some invitation when the time comes. It'll be up to them when decide what to do with the offer. Who else? You and Cove continue to come up with family members, friends, and professional relationships, and like to make an estimate size of the wedding. While Baxter jotted down the information like an attentive student sitting at the front of the class. And of those who you most want and expect to be there, would any of them make up a wedding parties, or is it just the normal guests? We were thinking of some kind of wedding party. Right, we hadn't exactly who'd be in it just yet, but we are having wedding parties.
Certainly.
Of course, let's discuss who's with who now then. It can be an equal split between both of you, but that's not a rule. If one of you has a bigger wedding party than the other, that's completely fine. It's just all about the TV, so you can do as you please. To pay Lee, Cove offered his first thoughts on the matter. I don't know, maybe it's embarrassing to even start dumb, but great as my friends are, I personally want to be there as many words. Or some dumb, but as great as my friends are, the person I want to be there as my best man is my dad. He's going to be so happy to hear that. Or, no, this is even funnier. Yeah, we can offer him $20 to do it. Perfect, that worked for sure. Having that close a relationship with your father is a beautiful thing.
What do you think?
Luna, do you know who you would be the lead of your wedding party? And the title is important. Best man, best woman, or best person. Maid, man, or individual of honor. Alright, it's all fine. You know what? For this year... Oh, God. I don't know if it would be Miranda. I think it's gotta be Miranda as my maid of honor. Very well. Anyone else in the parties? Well, I'm good with whichever friends and family bring to my party, but I kind of want the size of things to be sort of close. Everyone probably would be in Luna's party if there was more of a split, so that's okay. There'll probably be 3 or 4 in the parties at most. I didn't want that many anyways. Great. For your own party you chose... So, of course I got Miranda, so about 4. I think I want the moms. I think I want Terry as well, and a sister. I use... Yeah, because it's... Yeah, me... So yeah, so I definitely want the moms. Definitely want Terry, sister. I think that's good news. Bridesmaids and men for the titles. Then my party's gonna be Kira, Derek, and Lee. And with that, you successfully mapped out the members of your wedding parties. Perfect. I'll make notes. The statement was made extra clear by the clicking noises of Baxter's keenly tapping pen.
So.
On the topic of guests and that sort, are you open to attendees giving speeches in the reception? We can make it so only select people are arranged to say some words about the couple, or have a mic open for anyone interested in taking it, or discreetly circumvent anyone from gathering the intention in order to talk. I feel like it'd be nice to have some specific people talk.
Yeah.
Alright. Do you have the names of the guests giving speeches? I feel like Cliff. Cliff would be great. I feel like parents, and I feel like Kira. Oh god, I feel like it would be so funny just to have you to say a few words, but that's everyone I was thinking of. Cove made some small noises of acknowledgement at the end of the question. I like Terry. Terry could too.
Cool.
Good. He continued along casually, accepting all your inputs. Now, you're thinking about writing anything yourselves for custom vows? Just remember, it's option, not an obligation. It's no pressure to make a custom declaration if you're not comfortable with it. Oh, wanted to let Cove decide what he felt up for. Well, I think I wanted to write my own vows. I'm gonna be nervous either way, and there's a lot I could say. And that's what I will do. Cove's eyes squinted up from his cheeks as he smiled at you sweetly. You felt weird, feeling butterflies already, and the vows hadn't even been said.
Lovely.
Lovely, just lovely. And that's highly personal, so you each can work on them privately outside of our appointments. Baxter relaxed back into his chair and looked at both of you over. His smile curved widely. It was a look that made Cove nervous. You could feel him begin to fidget uncomfortably at your side. Let's talk a little bit more about traditions and wedding.
To be honest,
We're all friends here, so I'll be frank. If one of you sincerely asks not to get splattered with cake or for whatever else, and the other does exactly the opposite because they think it's funny, I will personally see to it that your marriage ends. If you can't treat your partner and their boundaries with respect on your own wedding day, you don't deserve them as your spouse. Now, I sincerely doubt that's going to be a problem with you two, but occupational hazard.
in that case,
With that being said, do you have any questions pertaining to either the ceremony or the reception? We can arrange for anything special that you do want to include. I'd like to do a proper cake cutting with Cove without all the mess.
Sure.
Yeah, we can do that. Cove crossed his arms, laid fruit on. The longer he chewed on that idea, the more his lips tugged into a bed smile. That means we can focus on what's important. Eat cake. Very well. Baxter clapped his hands together, pleased with the direction of the conversation. That's another important detail, Tom. You should discuss what you'd like to do to officiate the ceremony.
I can do that.
I can arrange for a standard justice of peace to be there, but if there's a pastor, minister, rabbi, judge, or anyone else you have in mind, please send me their contact information. Preferably right away. I can work out with them, so it's all set for the ceremony. Unsure what to say, Cove glanced at you. He scratched his cheek complaintively. I don't mind having a justice of the peace officiating.
Right.
Yeah, me either. He shrugged, glancing over at you to make sure simple justice of peace was all he needed. Wonderful. I'll get that in motion right away.
very well.
Now, have either of you considered how you'd want to arrive in the ceremony? Will one come in the first and then the other come down the aisle, or perhaps both of you enter together? Oh, what were you thinking, Cove? I closed his mouth, thinking over the question. His eyebrows pinched together as he imagined the various possibilities. Would you want? That's actually kind of what I was thinking. Would you want to do it together? He grinned wide, and he thought the idea sounded excellent. Don't be surprised if I hang on too tight. But yeah, Cove, I love that.
Yeah.
Great, cool. Exhaling his attention away, Cove closed his eyes. A weak laugh rattled through him. I think I can handle that distance without my legs giving out from under me, especially if we're doing it together. You laughed at the idea of tripping down the aisle. It slipped out before you could even think of stopping. Frowning, Cove rolled his eyes with an unspoken awareness that your fiction his fears almost perfectly. Don't worry about it. I'll just announce to everyone that you fell for me again. Cove dropped his head in his hands and his shoulders shook with a quiet laughter. His lips curled mischievously. You can just tell them those plans. Cove rolled a cheek into the palm of into one of his hands so he could peek at you and his thumb with the other. His gaze met yours affectionately. Thanks, Luna. Cove's face was a shade pinker from the conversation, but he was pleased with what you both said on. You were too. That sounds lovely. Baxter clicked his pen before dropping his attention to his paperwork. He glanced back up, giving you his full attention.
Does that sound alright?
Oh, are you intending to exchange wedding bands? It's possible to skip that. Cove answered, explaining how to explain their exchange rings. We were thinking that was gonna happen. We already got the rings.
Of course.
Of course, we can usually save a moment for you in that ceremony. And a small reminder, couples generally take off engagement rings before the ceremony to wear just the wedding bands during the wedding. Thanks. You couldn't help picturing the matching wedding bands you had gotten together. They're black. And a jeweled band. The stones you both decided on were blue sapphires. They're incredible, but before you can completely lose focus, Baxter spoke again.
So?
Do either of you want to have a bouquet? A small chuckle fell from Cove's soft-sided grin, but Baxter was serious and waved attentively. When Cove realized that, he shrugged. I like flowers, but I don't need a whole bouquet. I'd like to have one. The shape and the color hadn't formed you any thoughts, but part of you could already feel the weight of the flowers in your hands. A satisfied smile tugged at the corners of your mouth. Excellent choice. Let's discuss what it looked like then. He leaned forward and interlaced his fingers together on the table. Excited, he glanced at Cove, and he gave you a supportive thumbs up in return. Would you mind if it had white poppies? No, it definitely needs those. Since the instant Baxter brought up flowers, you had been positive Cove was going to ask for those. Are there any others that you would want highlighted? Orchids? White poppies and orchids? They're quite a combo, just like the two of you. Oh, white poppies and orchids. That's quite a combo, like the two of you. With that decided, Baxter picked up his own pen and took a note of your specifications. He subtly nodded as he wrote. Well, since you're having that means you have the option of a bouquet tossed during the reception. That sounds kind of fun. What do you think? Yeah, definitely, we gotta do it. Cove grinned, curled excitedly. Baxter's gaze lifted up from his notes. Marvelous. That's all about the basics sorted out, but we still have time to talk about the ceremony itself. There are vows, but then there you can personalize it with more rituals and such. If there's any particular tradition that you'd like to have, or if you're welcome to let me know.
Don't worry about it.
I don't have things I need. I'm not very traditional. I just want it to be whatever Luna wants.
Charming.
Charming, Luna. So these are actually very, very interesting. I'm going to kind of explain some of these. So, because if I remember correctly, so basically, there's all of these have some like religious, like some basic thing, but the sand pouring ritual specifically is when two or more people pour containers of sand into a single larger vessel, representing the blending of lives and basically the union of two families. Which I do like the idea of that. That does sound kind of interesting. A light chuckle escaped Basket while he took note of that. The corner of his mouth, it hooked into a amused smile. That's very fitting for the two of you, considering where you grew up. We love Sunset Bird. The beach has always been our home. Then that'll be perfect. Anything else? The glass breaking. I'm gonna look up the rest of these because I don't remember what these is. So the glass breaking ceremony is apparently, again, this is just the first thing that pops up in like my search engine, is a Jewish wedding ritual where the groom, or sometimes both partners, stomps on glass wrapped in cloth, typically at the end of the ceremony. Typically, it's used to remember the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem, symbolizing the permanence of marriage, acknowledging the love, life, and beautiful and fragile. And guests often shout, I can't read it, Mazel Tov, I think that's how you pronounce it, which means good luck and congratulations. The jumping the broom is most widely practiced by those of darker skins, in which newlyweds jump over a broom at the end of ceremonies to symbolize a new beginning and honor their heritage. Interesting. The hand fasting ritual is a symbolic unity between where couples' hands are bound together in cords or ribbon to represent their commitments. It's often rooted in Celtic tradition, often associated with Wiccan and pagan weddings, often used in other types of ceremonies, including secular ones. Often The ritual often involves an officiant tying the hands or couples pulling their separate ribbons to tie knots, which I know that symbolism can often be used in like some like magical stories, like fantasy-based stories of like, oh, you have to bind two people together as well. The blanket ceremony is apparently a Native American ritual of honor, unity, and protection that involves draping a special blanket over an individual or couple to signify milestones like a wedding, graduation, or birth. And obviously, different colors and stuff, and different blankets represent different things. Interesting. Floral garland. Apparently that is the floral garland exchange is part of a Hindu and Indian weddings where the bride and groom place garlands around each other's necks. Basically, again, symbolizing the same thing: acceptance, love, commitment to marry. It can be playful, and apparently it stems from a Swayam tradition where the princess chooses her husband. Interesting. And the last thing, the confetti tossing, is just a tradition where roots in ancient celebrations where grains and sweets were thrown at newlyweds to wish them good luck, fertility, and prosperity. Usually at the end of the ceremony or other celebratory moments, symbolizing love, well wishes, and a festive atmosphere. Which I do like the idea of the hand fasting ritual. Interlace your fingers together in your lap, you pause while backs are scribbled. Beautiful, I can make arrangements for that. Anything else? And I like the idea of, can there be the confetti tossing when you leave? Tapped his pen on the table twice. I know the perfect place to get some. Biodegradable and very nice. That's awesome. Yes, thank you. Anything else? That's everything. Content with your wishes, Cove nodded agreeably. Very well, so that's the ceremony. Now, any reception venue you will choose to be large enough to have room for casual dancing throughout the evening, but I need to know, should we schedule for any particular kind of dance? Such as the first dance between only you and Cove at the start, for example? Both of you turned to each other curiously. A deep red blush crept across his cheeks, and then he felt overwhelmed. Cove's gaze dropped to the floor.
Well,
I only agree with it if you want to have the first dance. I would want to have the first dance with you too. Cove perked up at your answer. Despite still being nervous, he gave an eager shimmer in his seats. You beamed, overjoyed with the idea of your first dance together as a married couple. What the heck is a money dance? Money dance. Wedding. A money dance is a tradition where guests pay for a short dance with the bride or groom by pinning money to their clothing or placing it in a container. This practice can be found in many cultures worldwide and meant to be a joyful way to show support to help the couple start their new life and unite the families. Fun. I don't think we need to do that. Also, did I? Give me a second. I don't remember. I accidentally pressed control. It makes it nice if we had our dance with our own parents. There was already a few songs playing in your head, reminding you of the times when you were small and your mom would spin you around the kitchen and the living room. A rosy blush dusted his cheeks a deeper pink. Hand-tightened. That'd be great, actually. And that's settled. Baxter continued to keep track of details by jotting it down on paper. He kept up the pace of the conversation with words and writing easily. Oh, and speaking of the ceremony and reception, that's my area of expertise. If you're going to on a honeymoon afterwards, that'll be something I'll recommend. Perhaps a travel agent for, or honestly arranging between only the you two without any middleman. Cove didn't blink at the caveat.
sure.
Yeah, we'll handle that. While we're here just about the day of, I get it. Fantastic. Now back to the wedding. Do you have a sense of style you're aiming for? Is it formal, casual? Do you have any particular color you would want the wedding party to wear? Are the clothes for the couple meant to be a surprise? For the ceremony, you would prefer to pick it out together. I I'm not sure. Also, what about hair? I can brush my hair out so it can be fancier, though it's not important I can keep it safe. Good question. What do you think, Luna? You can say the series of inquiries in response by saying... We could do something that's in between formal and casual. Yeah, cool. And... I'll be happy if the main color was blue.
Sounds good.
Also, I don't care if the clothes are secret or not. It's not a big deal either way. We could have be a surprise. I think that'd be kind of nice. That's totally fine, Cove. Thanks. You're sure Cove would look great with whatever he picks. And Cove, do whatever you want with your hairstyle. Okay, I'll figure it out. Excellent work. I know this has all been a lot of Q&A-ing, and there's so much to consider for this big event. Then Baxter's pen was placed back into the pocket where it come from. Your hand is now free hands along the smooth edges inside of the edge.
Thank you.
Thank you for being so forthcoming. I got a strong idea from where this is going from now on. I'm already looking forward to the next meeting where we can truly get to the specifics.
Oh?
That's everything? We're leaving? Yes, you can go, or you can stay if you want. That's the end of the actual session, but I'm not throwing you out. That's alright. Bye. Cove awkwardly waved Baxter off, despite still being seated and not going anywhere yet. He'd gotten so used to the discussion of the wedding, he'd forgotten his usual stiffness around Baxter for a time, but that spell broke. Baxter accepted the answer and pushed off the armrest of the chair to stand up straight. You and Cove followed his motion, getting up out of your own seats together. The wedding planner took one stride closer to the center of the room. After a beat of hesitation, he reached out a hand towards you. Gave him a friendly nudge into the arm instead. He smirked, letting himself be pushed over by you. He liked the version of a farewell introduction just fine. I'm expecting special treatment just since we're good friends, you joke.
Goodbye.
Goodbye for today, Luna. I'm glad to have seen you. Then he offered the same gesture to Cove. Your partner accepted it casually, giving Baxter a hand a solid shake. Take care, Baxter. Thanks, and same to you. You've got a wedding to be ready for. Don't forget to look out for yourself and your fiancé. I'll remember. The two men released each other's hands, settling into agreement to take this chance to put a new foot forward into their relationship. With that, the two of you found your way out of the official building. The pop and subsequent click from the opening and closing of car doors played out in sync between you and Cove. As he buckled up in the car way back, Cove commented on the experience. The sentence was hesitant as he had an upward bend that made it sound like a question.
So
that, well? Before you can respond to that not exactly question statement, Cove continued on with a new actual question. I mean, we got Baxter Ward as our wedding planner somehow, but he seems good at what he does, right? He put his hands over the wheel and peeked at you through the reflection in the overhead mirror. I just hope he doesn't suggest a monochrome color scheme.
You're right.
Yeah, exactly. Cove had pulled out the parking spot as he spoke. The vehicles rumbled away easily down the newly developed city streets of the area. But that was the end of Cove's attempt at conversation making. He went entirely quiet. The pensive look on his face didn't allow you to relax into a normal, comfortable silence. Cove, what's up? His mood easily lifted back up at the sound of his name. Forgetting all of the Baxter stuff, I'm just really happy we're doing this. Sometimes I still can't believe we're together, we're engaged, and soon we're gonna be married. It's incredible, and it never stops feeling like that. I don't think I'll ever be used to it, not really. It's like living an incredible dream. His cheeks squished as his eyes from the size of his grin. Nothing could stop him from looking forward to the upcoming occasion. Finally, the lack of words felt right between the two of you. You took the chance to let the day sink in as best as you could. From all the years you've known Cove, you're now going to have a wedding with him. The scenery slipped by faster than your eyes could keep up with as you got further and further into your own thoughts. And then suddenly the day had ended, and you were drifting off to sleep in Cove's arms. It was early afternoon when you stepped outside, breathing in the good weather. The gentle breeze warmed your skin while you made it for Cove. And I think this is a perfect place to end this episode here. We got the first day of wedding planning completed. I hope you guys have a good day, night, week, month of your lives, and may the stars forever guide your path wherever it might lead you into the future. Bye-bye.